Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a truth that might shake you. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're serious about. You can wish, you can dream, you can even pray. But until you get serious, nothing changes. The world does not respond to casual intentions. It responds to committed decisions. Desire without seriousness produces no results because desire alone is nothing more than a spark. You can feel the warmth of it, but without commitment, that spark never becomes a flame. People often confuse wanting something with being prepared to have it. They say they want financial freedom, better health, deeper relationships, but their actions don't match their words. Desire is the beginning, but seriousness is the fuel that makes desire come alive. Without seriousness, desire is like planting seeds and never watering them. You feel good about putting the seed in the ground, but the harvest never comes. When someone says, I really want to change my life, the first question that must be asked is, are you serious about it? Because wanting change is easy. Everyone wants something better. Everyone wants to live a life of abundance and joy. But not everyone is willing to pay the price, to do the work, to sacrifice comfort, to endure discomfort in order to create transformation. Desire will whisper ideas to you, but seriousness forces you to act on them. Desire creates dreams, but seriousness creates discipline. It's easy to dream about waking up early, exercising, and eating healthy. It's easy to imagine the body you want, the energy you need, and the lifestyle you desire. But seriousness is when you wake up before the alarm, when you push yourself through the workout, when you say no to the food that tempts you. Desire says, I want the reward. Seriousness says, I will do whatever it takes to earn the reward. Without that shift, desire remains a fantasy. Desire gets excited by inspiration, but seriousness thrives in consistency. Desire will move you for a moment when you hear a powerful speech or read an inspiring book. It gives you goosebumps. It makes you nod your head. It makes you say, yes, that's me. But seriousness is not emotional. It is intentional. It shows up when the inspiration fades. It keeps moving when motivation dies. It pushes you forward on days you don't feel like it. That's why desire without seriousness produces no results. Inspiration can excite you, but only seriousness transforms you. Desire without seriousness makes people professional wishers. They become experts at talking about what they want, but amateurs at doing what they need. They sound convincing. They convince others. Sometimes they even convince themselves, but deep down they know they aren't serious. And the evidence is clear the results are missing. You can't fake seriousness because results don't lie. You either have them or you don't. You can desire a new outcome for years, but until seriousness takes root, nothing in your life shifts. Desire without seriousness makes life frustrating. People with only desire look at their vision board, they look at their goals, and they wonder why things aren't working. They pray for change, they hope for change, they talk about change, but they don't commit to change. That gap between what they want and what they live creates inner conflict. They feel stuck, they feel disappointed, and eventually they may even start to believe that success just isn't for them. But the truth is not that success isn't available. It's that they haven't gotten serious enough to claim it. Desire without seriousness creates delay. Every year becomes next year. Every Monday becomes next Monday. Every opportunity is postponed because the person isn't fully committed. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect time, the perfect plan, and because of that, they never begin. Desire is always ready to wait. Seriousness is always ready to act. That's why some people spend decades in the same cycle. They keep desiring, but never deciding. Desire without seriousness produces excuses. When the going gets tough, desire quits. When the obstacles appear, desire complains. When the path gets hard, desire says, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But seriousness sees obstacles as part of the journey. Seriousness says, if it's hard, it's worth it. If it's challenging, it's shaping me. If it's difficult, it's preparing me. Desire folds when the pressure rises, but seriousness finds strength in the struggle. Without seriousness, every excuse becomes valid and every setback becomes an exit door. Desire without seriousness makes people live in illusions. They keep imagining the future. They keep talking about what they will do someday, but that someday never arrives. They trick themselves into thinking that wanting it badly is enough. But life doesn't reward desire. Life rewards action. And that action must be consistent, disciplined, and fueled by seriousness. People can live their whole lives imagining change, but never experiencing it simply because they never moved from wanting to committing. Desire without seriousness is like building a house on sand. It looks good for a moment, it feels strong for a while, but the first storm will wash it away. Seriousness is the foundation that keeps your life steady when the storms come. Without it, every dream collapses under pressure. And no matter how beautiful the dream was without seriousness, it never becomes reality. Seriousness shifts language, habits, and results because the moment someone truly commits, their words begin to carry a different weight. Casual language like try or someday disappears, and it's replaced with powerful declarations such as I will, I must, and it's done. Words are no longer empty expressions of hope. They become verbal commitments that lock a person into accountability. When seriousness enters the heart, even the way someone speaks about their future changes. They no longer describe what they wish could happen. They affirm what will happen. That shift in language alone begins to rewire the mind and set a standard for action. Language is the first evidence of seriousness because it reveals what a person truly believes. If the language is weak, hesitant, or filled with excuses, it shows that seriousness has not yet taken root. But when the language becomes firm and direct, it builds inner certainty. A serious person speaks with clarity and conviction because they already see themselves walking into the result. The words align with faith and determination. It is impossible to stay casual in speech when seriousness drives the heart because the mouth simply echoes the level of commitment within. After language shifts, habits must follow because seriousness cannot remain theoretical. Habits are the daily proof of what a person values. Someone can say they are serious about their health, but if their habits show poor eating and no discipline, the seriousness is only talk. True seriousness rearranges priorities and demands that habits align with the vision. Sleep patterns change. How time is spent changes. What is consumed mentally and physically changes. Seriousness does not allow old habits to survive. It forces new disciplines to take their place. The power of seriousness is that it eliminates double-mindedness. A person who is not serious entertains distractions, entertains procrastination, and entertains inconsistency. But when seriousness becomes the focus, the habits are stripped of anything unnecessary. What once seemed optional now becomes non-negotiable. Exercise, study, saving money, building relationships, practicing skills, these are no longer things to do if I have time. They become daily essentials, carved into the routine because seriousness will not settle for less. As habits shift, results must inevitably shift as well. Results are the fruit of repeated actions, and actions come from habits. Seriousness forces a higher standard of consistency, and consistency always compounds into visible change. A serious person does not need to brag about being serious because the results will speak for them. The body improves, the finances grow, the skills sharpen, the opportunities multiply. Results never lie, and they always reveal the level of seriousness someone has embraced. Results also change because seriousness attracts different opportunities. When a person speaks with conviction and carries themselves with discipline, doors begin to open that were once closed. People are drawn to seriousness because it communicates reliability and strength. No one invests in or follows someone who is casual about their goals, but when seriousness radiates, trust is built. As a result, new partnerships, promotions, and possibilities emerge not by chance, but because seriousness positioned the person to be seen as valuable. The shift in language, habits, and results also changes identity. A person who was once casual begins to carry themselves as a leader. Their self-image improves because their actions align with their vision. The gap between who they want to be and who they actually are begins to close. Seriousness creates integrity within the self, and that integrity produces confidence. When someone hears themselves speak with conviction, sees themselves act with discipline, and witnesses their own results improve, their identity upgrades to match the life they are building. Seriousness becomes visible in the details. It's not only in the big commitments, but in the small decisions. How someone spends an hour, what they choose to read, how they respond to distractions. Those details may seem small, but seriousness knows that results are built in the hidden moments of discipline. Someone unserious will dismiss the little things, but someone serious knows that every choice counts. The habits born from seriousness multiply in small ways until they produce massive change over time. Even the environment around a serious person begins to shift. They stop tolerating negative conversations, time-wasting activities, and relationships that pull them backward. Seriousness requires alignment, and anything that does not match the new language, habits, or results must be removed. This creates space for growth and for better influences to enter. Environments reflect commitment, and when a person is truly serious, their surroundings begin to mirror their new standard. Ultimately, seriousness is what separates those who talk from those who achieve. The shift in language sets the foundation, the shift in habits provides the structure, and the shift in results proves the transformation. Without seriousness, language remains weak, habits remain undisciplined, and results remain stagnant. But once seriousness takes over, every part of life begins to move in harmony with the vision that was once only a desire. The undecided are ignored by life because life responds only to clarity. When a person is uncertain, they send mixed signals to themselves and to the world around them. One day they say they want success, and the next day they are comfortable with mediocrity. One moment they set goals, and the next moment they forget about them. Life cannot reward indecision because indecision is a declaration of hesitation. When the mind is divided, the results are scattered. Nothing consistent can grow in the soil of uncertainty. Indecision drains energy faster than failure. A person who fails at least learns something, but a person who stays undecided wastes time without progress. They replay the same choices over and over, analyzing, doubting, hesitating until opportunities slip away. While they are thinking, someone else who made a firm decision is already acting, already building, already receiving results. Life honors the decisive because action creates momentum, and momentum attracts outcomes. The undecided, however, remain in limbo, stuck between what they want and what they fear. The undecided are ignored by life because they refuse to choose a direction. Imagine standing at a crossroads and waiting for the road itself to decide where you should go. You would stand there forever. That's what indecision does. It leaves a person stranded in the same place year after year while life keeps moving forward. Opportunities don't wait for hesitation. They pass by quickly, and those who are undecided miss them because they never stepped forward. Indecision also communicates weakness. When someone cannot make a decision, they show that they are not ready for responsibility. Life will not give them more until they handle what they already have. Success requires ownership, and ownership requires decision. The undecided avoid ownership because they fear being wrong. But in reality, refusing to decide is already a decision to stay stagnant. Life cannot bless stagnation, so the undecided remain unnoticed. The undecided often live with regret. They look back on missed chances, relationships that slipped away, business ideas they never pursued, and dreams they never acted on. They tell themselves stories like, maybe it wasn't the right time, or maybe I wasn't ready. But deep down, they know the truth. It wasn't timing that failed them, it was their indecision. Regret becomes the constant companion of those who delay too long because indecision steals time and time never returns. The undecided are ignored by life because indecision kills confidence. Every time someone refuses to make a choice, they teach themselves to doubt. That doubt grows stronger with repetition until they no longer trust their own judgment. They hesitate even in small matters, second guessing everything, paralyzed by fear of making the wrong move. Confidence is built by deciding and acting, but indecision starves confidence and feeds insecurity. Over time, the undecided lose belief in themselves, and that lack of belief keeps them invisible to the opportunities life offers. Indecision also destroys momentum. A person cannot build consistent habits without first making a clear choice. One day they start, the next day they stop, the following day they restart. That constant start and stop pattern keeps them from ever reaching a breakthrough. Life rewards momentum because momentum compounds into results. The undecided can never build momentum because they never fully commit to one direction long enough to see it through. They remain at the beginning stage, circling around the same possibilities without ever turning them into reality. The undecided often envy